Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, welcome to lesson 28, and today inshallah we are going to explore al-huruful muqatta'at. Al-huruful muqatta'at means the disjointed letters. There are 114 surahs in the Holy Quran. Starting from Surah Al-Fatiha to An-Nas, if you count 114 surahs, chapters. This is the division made by God Almighty in the text of the Holy Quran. Now, 29 surahs start with the disjointed letters, the letters which are pronounced separately. They are not joined together, they are not blended, but each letter is pronounced with its proper name in Arabic. And if you exclude 29 out of 114, the rest is 85 surahs, and they start with the jointed letters. And in this screen you can testify that statement. The first line is taken from Surah Al-Fil, and the second line or the second statement is taken from Surah Al-Baqarah. Well known, these two verses. Okay, many have memorized them. Now, the first word or first three letters of the first line is Alif, Lam and Mim. Alif, Lam, Mim. And these three letters take Arab stroke and symbols. Strokes, for example, Fatha. Alif takes Fatha, becomes Hamza Alif. Lam takes Fatha and La, and Mim takes symbol of Sukoon, Jazm, and it is pronounced Alam. Same three letters in the second verse, in the second line, which is taken from Surah Al-Baqarah. But here, these three letters, Alif, Lam, Mim, do not take Fatha, again Fatha and then Sukoon, symbol of Sukoon or Jazm, as in the first line of Surah Al-Fil. And here they will be pronounced separately, disjointedly. Alif, Lam, Mim is a special rule applied to pronounce these disjointed letters. The important point is to remember for us that all rules of recitation will be applied to pronounce the names of the Arabic letters, disjointed letters, in the recitation of the Holy Quran. Yes, we can say Alif, Lam, Mim without the recitation, out of the text of the Holy Quran or any Arabic writing. But as soon as the names of letters, Arabic letters, come during the recitation of the Holy Quran, all the rules of recitation will be applied to them. And as I mentioned that there are 29 surahs which start from disjointed letters, and some surahs start only with one letter. And out of 29, there are 3 surahs, chapter 38, Surah Sad, and chapter 50, Surah Qaf, and 68, Surah Al-Qalam. They start with only one disjointed letters. Now, in this screen, you can find one letter, that is Sad. And in bracket, you can find the transliteration, how this letter will be pronounced and what is the proper name of that letter. It is with Sad, Alif and Dal. These are the letters involved in this proper name of Sad. As I mentioned that all rules of relevant rules of recitation will be applied to pronounce a disjointed letter. Now, in this case, Dal is taking Sukoon, Jazm. It means when out of 5 letters, Qaf, Ta, Ba, Jim, Dal, al-Huruf al-Qalqala, that bouncing sound, letters of bouncing sound or echo, this Dal will be pronounced with an echo sound, with a bouncing sound, with a soft jerking sound, as we have learned from the previous rules in terms of recitation of Suratul Ikhlas, Suratul Lahab, Suratul Falaq, and so many other examples, Suratul Buruj, Surah Tariq, which we have already covered in previous lessons. Now, chapter 38, verse 2, and it starts with Sad, and this is disjointed letter, and we are going to practice this one. As a rule of recitation, we start with al-isti'adha, isti'adha or ta'awudh. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
صاد.
صاد.
Because this is a continuous recitation, and after Sad there is no sign of waqf, no sign of any end of ayah verse. So but we continue from the first letter, which is disjointed letter, up to the last. Okay, so one verse, full verse, verse number 2, Surah 38. صاد والقرآن ذي الذكر.
صاد والقرآن ذي الذكر.
Okay, good. The next example of chapter 50, Surah Qaf. Okay, and here you can find Qaf, and Fa is ending on Fa, and there will be no qalqala on that one as compared to Sad, because we have to apply the rule, and according to that rule there will be no qalqala, just a the Fa is becoming a mute letter. At the same time, you can find after Qaf there are two symbols of waqf, so two symbols of stopping, that punctuation, and one is a Jim and the second one is Qif. Okay, and both gives us this indication that you may stop. Good to stop, permissible stop, but not a compulsory stop. So we will do accordingly. Qaf wal Qur'anil Majid.
قاف والقرآن المجيد.
Now, in the second example, or another way is making a waqf and then starting again. And in this case, each one will be reciting separately. Okay. Qaf والقرآن المجيد. حسن.
قاف والقرآن المجيد.
Okay, Hafiz.
قاف والقرآن المجيد.
Okay, good. And the next letter one is Noon, and chapter 68, Surah Al-Qalam, also after Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, start with Noon, Al-Huruf al-Muqatta'at, one of that. Okay, in this case, you will be pronouncing, okay, you will be reading, and if there is any mistake or any observation or any concern, I will highlight. Okay, so in this case, first Nafis, you do this one. Yes.
نون والقلم وما يسطرون.
Okay, Hassan.
نون والقلم وما يسطرون.
Okay, good. So there are 3 surahs which start with one letter, and there are 9 surahs which start with 2 disjointed letters, and one of them is Taha in part 16, chapter number 20. Okay, And in this case, after disjointed letters, this is a end of sign, ayah, end of verse is also there, and also after that verse number 3. So in this case, Hassan, you do the full line, the two verses 2 and 3.
طه ما أنزلنا عليك القرآن لتشقى.
جزاكم الله. نفيس.
طه ما أنزلنا عليك القرآن لتشقى.
Okay. Another example of two letters is chapter 27, Surah An-Naml and Ta-Sin. Okay, do the same again, Hassan.
طاسين تلك آيات القرآن وكتاب مبين.
Please.
طاسين تلك آيات القرآن وكتاب مبين.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Another two letters, one example in Surah Hamim As-Sajda. Remember this Hamim. Hamim has come in 7 surahs, or 7 surahs start with these two letters Hamim, and one of them is Hamim As-Sajda. Okay, do that please, Hassan.
حميم تنزيل من الرحمن الرحيم.
Okay, Hanafis.
حميم تنزيل من الرحمن الرحيم.
This is very well known surah, okay, to everyone. So Yasin, chapter 36, and again, Hassan, you do that, please.
ياسين والقرآن الحكيم.
Okay, Nafis.
ياسين والقرآن الحكيم.
Okay, good. Now we have covered basically all 2 letters, which is Hamim, Yasin and Tasin, and total 9 surahs start with 2 disjointed letters, as I mentioned about that one. Now there are some surahs and 13 surahs which start with 3 letters, and one of the famous example, well-known example in Surah Al-Baqarah, Alif Lam Mim Zalik al-Kitab, as I mentioned in the beginning. Now Alif, Lam and Mim. Now in this case, I like to highlight that in transliteration, the second letter Lam is ending on Mim Sakin, Lam, and the third letter starts with Mim. Now according to the rules, 2 memes are joining together. The assimilation will take place, and the rule of recitation will be applied with gunna. The assimilation will take place with gunna, with nasal sound, again about 2 seconds. So that's why the la mim will be prolonged, and then with the nasal sound it will be joined with the next letter. Okay, in this case, Hassan, you do that first.
Alif Lam Mim.
Okay, now this meme also takes a shadda, and shadda is a sign that the previous letter will be joined together with a nasal sound. And especially we know that when there is a meme mushaddad, meme shadda is a 2-second nasal sound is applied. So lam with about maximum 6 counts, 6 beats about pronunciation, the prolongation, and also the meme also, because the meme is a maddul waqf. We are making a waqf on that one, we are making a stop, and that's why it will be prolonged. Okay, okay. Next, do now starting from verse number 2 and ending to 3, please.
ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين.
Okay, Nafis. And this time I will require from you to make a certain works, if you can, pause during the text. Okay.
ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين.
Okay, Jazakumullah. Another example of 3 letters again on Ta, Sin and Mim. The first letter is Ta, the second is Sin, and the third letter is Mim. And in transliteration in the bracket it has been, the pronunciation guide has been mentioned, and the rule of assimilation will take place. Rule of recitation will also be applied to these 3 letters, especially when they are joining together. Okay, and it is also good that in strokes and the symbols on meme you can find a tashdid sign and symbol of elongation as well. So meme, that what's going to take place, that noon will be joined together with meme, ta, sin and meme, because we know that after noon sakin and tanween, if the next letter is any of the 6 letters of the phrase yarmalun, ya, ra, mim, lam, waw, noon, in this case is meme, or the 4 letters where the assimilation will take place with nasal sound, for example yumin or yanmu. Now in this case noon will be joined together with meme but with nasal sound, about 2 seconds. Okay, Hassan, do that one.
طاسيم ميم تلك آيات الكتاب المبين.
Okay, Nafis.
طاسيم ميم تلك آيات الكتاب المبين.
Okay, Jazakumullah. Another 3 letters, Ain, Sin, Qaf. Remember in the previous screen, after Sin there was Mim. Okay, here the middle letter also Sin but followed by Qaf. Now it is up to you which rule will be applied here. Okay, so you have to scan your mind and brush up your rules of recitation and then let me know, because no transliteration has been made here. Okay, tell me first what you are going to do here, Ain, Sin, Qaf. But also is a good to remember that chapter 42 Suratul Shura start with these disjointed letters. In this case Hamim, after Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, the Hamim are the first 2 disjointed letters followed by Ain, Sin, Qaf. So I will tell you later on that there are 2 surahs which start with 5 disjointed letters, some with 1 letter, some 2, some 3, some 4, and there are 2 surahs which start with 5 disjointed letters. This is one of them, Suratul Shura. Okay, there is Hamim, 2 disjointed letters, and after there is a sign of ayat, is a verse ending, and then verse number 3, Ain, Sin, Qaf. Now Sin followed by Qaf. Which rule will be applied here, Hassan? Remember, Sin, Noon Sakin followed by Qaf. Qaf. Okay, we know that no assimilation is going to take place because Qaf is not one of them 6 letters of Ya, Ra, Mim, Lam, Waw, Noon, Yarmalun. Okay, Nafis?
I think it's going to be the rule of ikhfa.
Yes, good, excellent. Rule of ikhfa of Noon Sakin will take place here because Sin, Qaf, is a 2-second ikhfa and then Qaf. Okay, I like to apply this rule and recite that first. Hassan.
Hamim Ain Sin Qaf.
It is important to note that after Ain, the same rule will be applied here, because Ain, Sin, because Ain and Sin is also one of the 15 letters of Ikhfa. Okay, do again.
Hamim Ain Sin Qaf.
I think you have to do again Ain, Sin, Qaf, Ikhfa, little bit more, it was suffocated, more clearly pronounced. Clear means Ikhfa should be manifested properly, especially when you are joining or pronouncing the second letter, Sin. Do again.
Ain Sin Qaf. كذلك يوحي إليك وإلى الذين من قبلك الله العزيز الحكيم.
There are mistakes of waqf. Okay, كذلك يوحي up to from كذلك يوحي up to al-Hakim, al-Aziz al-Hakim is one statement. Okay, meaningful statement. So, and after min qablika there is a la. La means la waqf ali. Though we have not just yet covered the rules of stopping waqf, but inshallah ta'ala we are going to explore in the future lessons. But it is important to start from kadhalika yuhi, or just you say kadhalika yuhi ilayk. You just stop here. Do this one.
كذلك يوحي إليك.
Okay, safe. Okay, Nafis, you do that.
Hamim Ain Sin Qaf. كذلك يوحي إليك وإلى الذين من قبلك الله العزيز الحكيم.
Okay, Jazakumullah. Remember that in the verse number 3, Ain, Sin, Qaf, 3 symbols of madda have been placed on that one. So you need a longer breath when you are doing a continuous recitation, because you are going to apply 3 madda at the same time with ikhfa. Okay, next 3 letters is alif, lam, ra. Nafis, you do this one, first one.
Alif, lam, ra. تلك آيات الكتاب وقرآن مبين.
حسن.
ألف لام را. تلك آيات الكتاب وقرآن مبين.
Okay, what is the rule if you by mistake, because anything can happen, just a slip of tongue, if any mistake is happened, then what you are going to do, you simply just reread the whole verse, or especially that word, or meaningful start. Okay, do again from tilka.
تلك آيات الكتاب وقرآن مبين.
The important point to note is that when any mistake is happened, then a starting should be from the start of a word, a start of a verse, not in between. This time you have done very well, but this is our common observation. For example, if say tilka ayatul kitabi wa, if there is some mistake, they start from kitabi wa Quranin. No, full al kitabi or ayatul kitabi, always starting from the first letter of a word, not in between cutting, because the word has been pronounced or has been revealed such, and we are not allowed to cut in between a word. Okay. Okay, 4 letters, and there are 2 surahs which start from with 4 disjointed letters, and one is Suratul Ra'd, chapter 13, and one is Suratul A'raf, chapter 7, and in this case Alif Lam Mim Ra. Okay, do that one, Hassan.
ألف لام ميم را تلك آيات الكتاب.
That's very good. The second 4 letters, chapter 7, Suratul A'raf, is Alif Lam Mim Sad. Again, Lam is ending on Mim. The third word starting with Mim, and then 2 Mim are joining together. Assimilation will take place. Joining will take place with nasal sound, 2 seconds. And Sad, the last letter, fourth letter, and Dal will be pronounced with qalqala, is a bouncing sound. Okay, Nafis, do that one.
Alif Lam Mim Sad Kitabun unzila ilayk.
Okay.
ألف لام ميم صاد كتاب أنزل إليك.
Okay, Jazakumullah. Now, the last is 5 letters. As I mentioned earlier, there are two surahs, 2 chapters in the Holy Quran out of 29, where 5 disjointed letters. They start with 5 disjointed letters, and one was, I mentioned, Suratul Shura. Okay, where is Ha Mim, and the second Ain Sin Qaf, making a total of 5 disjointed letters. But here in this case, Surah Maryam, chapter 19, is 5 disjointed letters have been mentioned together. Okay, in the first after Bismillah Rahman Rahim, 5 as a one unit. So Kaf, Ha, Ya, Ain, and remember, after Ain, Nun Sakin followed by Sad is one of the letter of Ikhfa. Nasal sound will take place about 2 seconds, and Dal with Qalqala. So this is the last your practice. Do first, Nafis.
Kaf Ha Ya Ain Sad Dhikru Rahmati Rabbika Abdahu Zakariya.
Okay, Jazakumullah, Alhamdulillah. So just a quick recap. 29 surahs start with disjointed letters, and 3 surahs with 1 letter, 9 surahs with 2 disjointed letters, 13 surahs with 3 disjointed letters, and then again 2 with 4 disjointed letters, and 2 is with 5 disjointed letters. One is Surah Shura, and another one Surah Maryam. Okay, chapter 29, and that is the conclusion of lesson 28. And inshallah ta'ala, see you in the next lesson, which we are going to explore more about rules of pauses as well. Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ورتل